Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our SEUNGWOO career mode. This is going to be an exciting episode here for us, at least hopefully it will. Obviously, this is our return to Barcelona. Last season, we were with Aberdeen, finishing out that season. Wanted to make sure we came in with the same form we ended with out in Aberdeen, coming into this American preseason cup where we're going up against Roma, Juventus, and NYCFC are the three teams that are going to be we're going up against in this episode for the cup. Obviously, they wanted to start me in the cup to make sure that I got some gameplay time. Suarez was sitting the bench. I usually playing with one of the right mids that are not Messi, and then also playing Neymar on the left. We still played pretty strong teams, but it really never felt like we had quite enough control of the game to truly take a hold of anything. It kind of felt awkward all the way through. We weren't really sure what we were doing as a team, so it was a little difficult playing this game. And obviously, I'm readjusting to the Barcelona way of playing things, having players around me that are top quality. And it's I wouldn't say it's that hard of an adjustment. It's going to be hard for me to get goals, I think, for this team. I'm definitely going to be a team player. I'm definitely going to get assists or key passes, whatever I need to do in that sense. But to actually shoot the ball myself is going to be a little interesting. It's going to take a little bit of time to get used to. And time's definitely going to be against us because obviously having Suarez in the team, if I slip up in performances, then there's no reason for them to keep me in the starting squad. So definitely need to make sure we keep up the good performances, keep the chances coming through, make sure we're doing everything we can to perform well. I am going to be changing numbers in this team soon. As of right now, I'm wearing number 37, which I know is a little weird. But there is a big transfer that will be happening in this episode that will be basically the stepping stone for us to change numbers. And the little hint I'll give right now is it'll be the title as well, is MSN is no longer by the start of the season. So you guys can let that wander in your brain for a minute while we wait and see how things go in this cup and how this transfer window goes down. I'm really glad that they didn't want to put me on loan. Obviously, I'm the second best striker on the team in terms of rating, so they definitely wanted to make sure that they had a backup for Luis Suarez if he did indeed go down. So really glad that I'm not going out on loan again. Really glad that I'm going to be able to get back into the first team, do things the way I want to do them. And try to put in some good performances, try to truly get into this Barcelona squad and just rise up in the ranks and do what I need to do. Obviously, if after a season or two I'm not really happy here, I might move on. We'll see kind of how the offers come through. I'm never going to ask for a transfer request away from Barcelona. If a deal comes through that I can't turn down, then I'll definitely take it. But as this game comes to a close, it ends in a 0-0. I played the entire game because I wanted to try to get as much gameplay in as possible, try to impress the management as much as I could, just doing everything I could to make sure that I still had a place in this team regardless of what happened in this preseason cup. But like I said, the team's not playing ideal, which kind of comes down to a lot of the players that management decided to play. There's some players here and there that were a little iffy whether or not they should have started in this game, including myself. I was kind of playing a little out of sorts. I mean, I was getting the player ratings I needed, which was the weird thing, right? As I almost score right there in the 17th minute. I'm playing really well as a team player. I'm getting really good player ratings, playing in my position, getting the ball back, holding possession, doing what I need to do basically to keep everybody happy, except for getting goals. I just need to get goals. But in that sense, like I said, it's going to be difficult. It'll take me probably a couple months of gameplay into the season rather, until I actually start scoring goals. So I kind of knew going into this episode it was going to be a bit of a dull one. Definitely wanted to make sure that I could maybe at least get my teammates goals, because obviously you want to perform regardless of how things are going for you. So I was just kind of trying to feed the ball into teammates. Messi came onto the pitch in all of these games at multiple times. Obviously, Neymar was on the field. Iniesta came on in a few games as well. So, you know, I had a lot of options to get the ball to, but like nobody wanted to take the shot. They kept putting the ball back in me. Even when I'm not calling for the ball, it was like I understand like the Barcelona 1-2 passing, and I enjoy doing it and we'll still do it, but I'll do a 1-2 pass with another player, like they pass it to me and I pass it back to them, but then they'll just pass it back to me and I'm not in a scoring position at all. So then we end up giving away possession, then we don't score a goal again. So I'm still, like I said, I'm still trying to adjust to this team. It'll take me a while, but I can assure you guys that it is going to be good for us. This is going to be a good season. As we go down, as I'm saying that in the 41st minute, it was a beautiful header by them, and they take a 1-0 lead. And at this point, I was like, you know what, this preseason cup's not going well. I think this is kind of a whitewash. I think I come off in around the 60th minute to let Suarez come in. And keep my fitness away from getting me injured, but I really wanted to grab a goal or have one of my teammates grab a goal before I went off the field because I wanted to try to win this game, you know what I mean? This was a very big game for us to win in this cup. Even if it is preseason, you always want to win every game regardless, especially when you're a team like Barcelona. You have standards to live up to, so this preseason cup is another opportunity for us to show how strong of a team we are. But with the teams that we ended up putting out, it just really didn't feel that comfortable. As you guys are going to see, it's like the passing looks really good for about 5 seconds and then it all falls apart, and then players start trying to do these weird passes where it's completely off target or going straight to a defender, and it just doesn't work out for us whatsoever. So puts us in a really bad position late in this game, still 1-0 down. As you guys are going to see, we're just trying to work the ball around. Our players are kind of pushed up awkwardly. I'm trying to sit back in the box because all of our midfielders had pushed forward and our defenders didn't know where to pass the ball to. Route 1 passing wasn't going to work because they were sitting so far back, so we just had to do whatever we could to make sure that we could still pull something out of this game, but it ended up not coming out that way, and I play the full 90 minutes again. And we actually ended up losing. They had 1 shot, 1 on target, 1 goal. We had 4 shots, 2 on target, 0 goals. So really disappointing there. Roma ends up beating Juventus, making this game against Juventus really big. If we win this game, then I think we tie them on points. I think we may have honestly at this point not even been able to go through. Juventus was on 1 point and so were we. And NYCFC and Roma were both on 4 points. So if we would have won this game against Juventus and then Roma beat NYCFC, then we could have gone through in the next stage of the American Challenger Cup, which would have been nice. So we definitely wanted to make sure we put all our efforts into this Juventus game. It was another game that I was going to try to obviously play as much as I could, but if need be, I was willing to come off if it meant that we could win this game. So coming into this game, I could tell they put a pretty strong team out, and we didn't quite do so. It kind of felt like we already gave up, and the defense already gave up. The defense was playing horrible in this cup. As much as the rest of the team obviously wasn't playing ideal, including the strike force, we weren't scoring goals, so we can't win games, plain and simple. But our defense just was playing incredibly out of position the entire cup, and we end up going down in the 3rd minute 1-0. So at that point, I'm already like, okay, we're going to have to force this through as much as possible. But as you guys see here, we end up getting some attribute ratings to further continue our pursuit of 80 rated in this squad. We definitely want to reach that hopefully or pretty early on into the season so that things will obviously be a little bit easier for us. Being a 78 rated striker in a Barcelona team's a little difficult because we definitely want to make sure that we have all the capabilities to further progress in this team. Basically, when you have really good passers around you, if you don't have the touch you need, the dribbling you need, it gets kind of difficult. Balls may come to you and you may not have the right touch. Like right there, I kind of feel like if I would have had a little bit better of a touch, I could have gotten away with that ball and actually created a chance out of it, but it didn't end up turning out that way. So the better our player ends up being, the better the squad's going to play all around. And here you see we had a chance in the 42nd minute. The keeper was playing out of his mind in this game. And, you know, that was kind of the theme of this entire cup, is the keepers were playing really well, and we just couldn't seem to find a way to break them down. I definitely need to work on my finishing to make sure that we can make chances and actually work on those chances and actually get goals from those chances. Right now, you know, the team's setting me up in decent positions. Not so much in this game, but once we actually start getting into the league and the next episode, you guys will see we start getting some chances. It's definitely all about that finishing, though. The better our finishing is going to get, obviously, the more goals we're going to get. I know that's a little redundant to say, but at the same time, it's incredibly true, and it is something we definitely need to work on. But as you guys saw, Messi played in that first half. I think my big problem with that first half was I was trying to get the ball to Messi too much, and him playing in that right wing position really wasn't benefiting me. So they ended up bringing Neymar in for the beginning of the second half, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and take myself off. I'm not really enjoying playing this game right now. So I request the sub, and we start working our way into the box, and this always happens. The second I request a sub, I end up getting a beautiful opportunity to try to get some goals and try to get some opportunities. There, I kind of wish he would not have taken the shot he just did, but Busquets ended up doing it and missing out on the goal scoring opportunity. So we end up going off at a 1-0 defeat to Juventus, and I think it ended up staying that way. So we ended up getting knocked out of the cup. So little disappointing there, but it gave me a lot of time to focus on my training. I'm not going to show you guys all the training sessions here, just kind of the first one and then the one that's actually going to be important for us here in a little bit. As you see, Chelsea signed Jerome Boateng to lock up their defense, which is nice because usually it's Real Madrid or Bayern Real Madrid that end up signing them. But as you guys just saw there, if you noticed, FC Bayern just bought Neymar, and he is the one that I was talking about. I will be taking over the number 11 for this series as he ends up working his way out on a $123 million deal. He will be moving to FC Bayern, and Barcelona doesn't sign another left wing, and I know that's a little bit of a spoiler there because we're not at the end of the transfer window just yet, but we don't end up bringing anyone else in, which we had brought Aaron's into the team. As you guys are going to see, he's going to start up front with myself and Messi to start off the season, but I thought we would bring somebody in, especially if we're getting that much money from that deal. I would think we could bring in somebody pretty top quality, maybe bring back Alexis Sanchez or do something, but we ended up not doing so. So we're playing with a little bit of a weaker squad than I was kind of hoping for coming back into this squad. I was really excited to be a part of that, I guess the backup to MSN, right? I kind of wanted to see how many goals they could score in this series, and how many goals that I could contribute to two or even three of them, depending on who was playing into the team. So a little disappointing to see Neymar go, but I'm going to play a few more games here where I am wearing the number 37 before I end up switching to the number 11. I really wasn't sure if, like I said, I wanted to make sure we didn't end up bringing in another player and end up giving them the number 11. I was going to give them that opportunity because I'm not a starting player yet, but the number 11 will definitely be fitting. It always goes to a player that is like an up-and-comer, a player that is young but a star, a player that Barcelona is sure that is going to turn into something great. So obviously he was given Neymar for good reason. He's definitely going to be the successor to Messi when in real life, obviously, when Messi does end up leaving the game. So here, to have Neymar go, it only felt fitting for me to throw on the number 11 and just try to contribute to the team as much as I could. So as you guys see, we're getting a couple opportunities here. We're holding possession really well. I'm working my way around the box, but they're pretty locked down in defense in terms of their back four and their center defensive mids. So it was kind of hard to get shots off. I kept hitting the defenders, tried to pass the ball around anywhere I could to kind of get some opportunities. And this is where you're going to kind of start seeing where I'm passing the ball off, kind of hoping that they'll create opportunities by themselves, but they end up trying to do another pass that ends up being one too many passes and not giving us a goal scoring opportunity. So it's a little disappointing right now. Definitely still trying to figure out the tendencies of the passing in this team and the tendencies of Messi. You know, him playing out on that right wing this year, when you're doing career modes in Barcelona simulating games, if the computer is controlling Messi, he plays very different than he plays in real life, and it actually ends up hindering me a little bit, and I'm not too sure how to play with him next to me too much right now. So at the end of the first half, it ends up still being 0-0. A little disappointing because since we had so many chances, we definitely should have a lead in this game, and I don't have a single clue how I don't get that goal, guys. It was really disappointing because that was right at the end. That was right as I was coming off. I just wanted to smash that into the back of the net right as I came off the pitch, but it ended up not working out that way. So that is going to be the end of this episode. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next one, I'll see you guys later.